So you're here because you've somehow in your life at some point typed in the words how to speak like a native English speaker or how to get an American accent. At some point you've either thought that or you've looked for some way to achieve that goal, or even now you're sitting there thinking, this is something I want. If that's you, keep watching, because in this video I want to talk really straightforward with you about the kinds of things that can be achievable, and we'll talk about realistic expectations. Hi, I'm Rebecca Bauer. I am an accent modification coach and English pronunciation instructor. I also happen to be a speech and language pathologist, and I'm here to talk to you about goals. The reason I'm bringing up goals is because, of course, I help people to improve their English pronunciation so that it's no longer really a barrier for them. They're feeling like they're speaking clearly and they feel confident, and when they run into words they don't know, they know how to deal with them. It's really about improving fluency and naturalness and confidence. But many times people will come and they will say, my goal is to speak like a native English speaker. The first thing I ask is why? And I think sometimes we all have these preconceived notions of why we want a certain thing. And a lot of people believe that it's going to affect their ability to get a job and social elements related to their speech. And I often ask people to just really dig deeper, because if you look all around, you see wonderful examples of people with accents that are extremely successful, that are amazing in their communication skills as speakers, as presenters, as politicians and actors. It's not really an element of success and a way to socialize, but there is some element of confidence. And I think it really comes down to that one thing. And if we really boil it down to, am I able to speak clearly? Am I able to get my message across? And do I feel confident? Then that's ultimately the goal I want to achieve for my clients to improve. Now, typically, I am helping people to get to a point where they no longer feel that they have to repeat themselves. That is one extremely large goal. The other is often you're feeling like you get stuck on words and you're constantly stumbling. You're getting comments from people, I think you meant this word. When that happens often and you're often repeating yourself, and then you get to a point where you don't feel confident enough to speak out, let's say in a work situation or in social conversations, then that is the time to start saying, let's deal with this issue. Because we never want our communication skills to be a barrier to expressing ourselves and to being who we are with other people, to being, our social bubbly self or our knowledgeable self in work situations. We don't want that standing in the way. So that's what my goal is for clients. And yes, I am actually quite a data-driven person, and most of the work I do with clients has very specific goals with numbers associated with improvements of pronunciation. And that's kind of the way I think of it. An 80% improvement in your pronunciation of English, what does that mean? Are you speaking clearer? Are you understood more often? Are you asked to repeat yourself way less often? Do you feel confident when you're talking in English? So let's talk about what actually is achievable. I think for the vast majority of people, the learning of pronunciation techniques and being more aware of certain differences in English pronunciation and then practicing those tips is really all most people want. They want to improve their accuracy and clarity. They have a passion for language and they're committed and they're willing to put in dedicated time to working on that sole goal. So for people like that, you're going to see tremendous changes in English pronunciation. That is the type of person who's going to put in not just 10 or 15 minutes of time in their day, but they're going to use the strategies all day long when they're communicating with everyone, and they're going to live it. They're going to use their strategies every time they speak. So that is the type of person who's going to make significant changes. And not everyone can do that, right? So that's something to consider, is your motivation. How motivated are you? How much time do you have to dedicate to this goal? And do you have the opportunities to practice English often? And one thing that we don't often talk about is it's kind of our personality. Some people are very creative and musical and artistic, and they just have that kind of right brain knack for things, and they pick up music music and artistic elements very quickly. And that is the type of person who typically understands the intonation and rhythm and stress of English, and that they improve in a significant way. On the other hand, if you're a very left brain, logical type A, very data-driven person, I find that from the clients I work with, their pronunciation accuracy is tremendous, and that is the improvement they see, but the struggle is a bit more with that intonation and music. So we really do need to meld both in together to create a really natural way of speaking that's actually functional, and everyone is different. And so you really should ask yourself, what am I? Am I someone who's really artistic and can find music really easy? Then you might want to start with stress and intonation. And if you're very analytical, start with the pronunciation, but keep in mind, your naturalness should also be something you're going to want to spend time thinking about. So again, in the end of this, can you sound like a native North American English speaker? Maybe. There are people who achieve a very significantly close North American accent. But there are such tiny intricacies of a language and vocabulary and things like that that do take part in your speech. And so I would say that it's not even really truly a realistic goal. And it's definitely not something that I promise to clients ever. But you can go from here to here and make a significant change and definitely get to very clear pronunciation and get to very confident speech and be extremely successful. So just don't let it get in your way. This applies to any language. If I'm learning French and I want to achieve a very native French pronunciation, it applies in that situation too. If you are making this a goal of yours and you're putting in the dedicated time and you're committed to this goal, in 3 or 4 months, you can make quite significant changes and you can start to build habits in your speech that are lifelong habits. Just know if your goals are clarity and accuracy and confidence, you can achieve that in significantly shorter time with the right information, with the right instructor, and with the right resources. So now that we have realistic goals, knowing that we can make significant changes in our pronunciation and knowing that we can speak without being asked to repeat ourselves and without kind of getting stumbled on words all the time, and knowing that when we're speaking clearly and accurately. If that's your goal, then I want you to go to this little video over here, because this is where I'm going to introduce the real pronunciation work. Okay, this is where all the practice comes in. I'm going to talk about sprinting, jogging, and running. And you're like, what? Well, we're talking about different ways of practicing English pronunciation in a way that gets you from word level and getting really good at a skill and a sound to phrases and jogging through it, getting some good practice. Running, we're talking sentences, reading, conversation, and building habits. So if you want to learn about that and improve your English pronunciation, go to that video. I'll see you there. So click that little thumbs up mitten hand guy. I want to be able to share this with other people who are also struggling with their English pronunciation. And of course, if you want to learn more about English pronunciation strategies, ways to improve your clarity of speech, go to my website. The link is below, Proactive Pronunciation. You'll find my book, my audiobook. There's also a course and there's coaching options for those of you who are looking for that kind of support. And if you are just looking for more information, then just stick around this channel, because of course I'm going to keep giving you lots of free, awesome tips and information and strategies and practice. And I'm going to help you achieve your goals and give you the information that you're looking for. So I'll see you at the next video. Bye.